Hey, this is Steven Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum against Smackdown. A lot was accomplished. Smackdown is definitely kind of coming out of WrestleMania, the WrestleMania funk finally. Raw continues to fall on its face. NXT continues to roll, but with far less people watching than the other shows. And SmackDown, after a stumble out of the gate after WrestleMania, appears to be getting back on track. I think once we get past WrestleMania Backlash, things will be better even more. So we got to throw back SmackDown. And the only thing I can fault them for is when they show the hokey old commercials and stuff, that's one thing. But when they show these sort of great moments, it makes you realize how far the WWE is from a lot of these kind of moments, particularly Raw, but to a lesser extent SmackDown as well. But thank goodness SmackDown has Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso. So we get that, right? And they're out there. They're doing their thing. Daniel Bryan lost the career versus title match. The crowd is apparently mad. They do a 10-bell salute where Paul Heyman just says ding. Total asshole move. And then Jimmy Uso comes out making his return from injury. So they look stronger than ever. But then the celebration's interrupted by Cesaro. This is Cesaro taking on a group of heels, and it looks great. And then Rollins attacks him from behind. So Cesaro is being billed as the babyface having to fight off all comers. And you know what? It's classic making a babyface shit. And I'm all for it. And it looks great. And we're going to have a match between Seth Rollins and Cesaro in just a bit. But Teddy Long comes out. I wish this stuff was happening in front of a live crowd. I really do. I think it would just be absolutely sensational. Adam Pearce granted him some power, and if Cesaro can beat Rollins tonight, he'll earn a title shot at Reigns at Backlash. It feels too soon to do that, if I'm being honest. Ico Pro makes you realize, yeah, steroid trial stuff. Anyway, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. Foregone conclusion match, yeah. The way that he slipped into the neutralizer, by the way, looked phenomenal. Seth Rollins, all due credit for helping this match look great, but Cesaro looks very much a star. The Usos are upset. Cesaro celebrates. Reigns and Heyman are watching backstage. We come back. Boy, Reigns is backstage. Seth Rollins walks in. He's not happy. He mentions their history. Jimmy screwed that up for me. But you screwed it up, Rollins, by losing. So there's dissension amongst the heels a little bit. That gives a little daylight to good old Cesaro. They show the grocery store segment between Booker T and Steve Austin. Teddy Long's there with Sonya Deville. Sami Zayn walks in. Hopes Teddy will give him a shot at his Intercontinental title. Teddy does his one-on-one with the Undertaker line. Sammy reminds him the Taker is retired. Okay, then Sammy's going to team with Apollo Crews versus Kevin Owens, the Street Profits, Big E, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And Deville reveals that Otis and Chad Gable will be teaming with Sammy for the 10-man match. Teddy says King Booker will also be on their team, but DeVille corrects him. It's King Baron Corbin. Teddy tries to get Sammy to dance with he and Seville, but he's not interested. It's ridiculous. Reigns is backstage when the Usos walk in. He's not happy with Jimmy Uso. Jimmy walks off, and Jay kind of takes off after his brother. All right. Obviously, that's going to be the central part of this show, is advancing that plot. I mean, they're having a 5 versus 5 match so they can get everybody wrestling, so we can have more of this interplay. But SmackDown needs it, so I ain't mad. Ruby Riott against Carmella. Carmella looks like new money. Boy, she looks great. I'm glad to see her win, and we're moving on. We show Edge and Hulk Hogan winning the tag titles from Billy and Chuck. Yeah. Bayley, announcers hype her WrestleMania Backlash match against Bianca Belair. Bayley cuts a great promo about how great women wrestlers of the past and kind of tries to give due to Bianca Belair. etc., etc. They set up that match. Back from the break, they show Brock Lesnar and Big Show making that ring implode. This is where Bayley talks about all the women champs, talks about Bianca Belair. She's so happy and full of potential. Here comes Belair swinging her hair. They start brawling and fighting and all that kind of good stuff. Bayley grabs Belair again, drops her in her face, and leaves the ring laughing. Makes sense. Usos are backstage. Jay and Jimmy have an interplay that shows that Jimmy is not totally down with the Reigns thing. Rey Mysterio against Dolph Ziggler. Fun little graphics of throwback kind of graphics, right? At the end of the day, Dominic counters a move and drops Ziggler into a roll-up for the pin to win out of nowhere. So Dominic gets the win. It's weird, but it is what it is. We see last week what happened with Natalya, Tamina Snuka, and the women's tag champs, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So we get Reginald against Tamina Snuka, which is really weird. You can tell they're really trying to save stuff for later. At the end of the day, Tamina Snuka wins by DQ. Okay. It feels like a real waste to waste a women versus man match on this. But it is what it is. I get what they're trying to do. Jax, Baszler, and Reginald leaves together after Jax puts the boot to Tamina's face. After they take out Natalya as well. So we got IC champ Apollo Crews backstage with his Commander Aziz and his tag partners talking about leading them into battle. We go to Big E and his partners for the main event, and they get all the way hyped up, and they want the smoke and all that kind of good stuff. So now we have the big old schmoz of a match, and it's a big old schmoz of a match. They do a pretty good job of kind of keeping it together, and at one point the match really picks up. It's very exciting, it's very good, and at the end of the day, Corbin grabs Nakamura for the end of days for them to pick up the win, and it's a big deal. So we get Reigns out there with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso. Big brawly brawl. Cesaro kicks all their asses. But when he finally hits Jey, that's when Jimmy just can't resist and he kind of gets in there. But then Cesaro leaves them all laying and Cesaro's walking tall at the end. Really good look. A really big step forward for Cesaro. Really smart booking. This has been Stephen Platinum.